I haven't done any jig reviews in a while, so I thought it's a good time to review one, especially since I've tried a lot of new jigs this year and in some new applications. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been trying to cast some bigger lures this year, at least bigger by my standards. Hoping to, I don't know, catch a trophy crappie, maybe some nice bass, whatever, just something bigger than what I normally catch because, well, you know what I normally catch. But this is the stuff that I've been throwing this year. These Kitech Easy Shiners in a lot of colors, Kitech Swing Impact, both in 2-inch and in 3-inch actually. And I tried this Mega Bass Hasdong or Hazdong, however you want to call it. These three guys, I threw them a lot, and this is what you mostly saw in my videos, these two presentations. And if I can grab this one, and both of them are using the jig that I'm gonna review today. And this is what I'm gonna be talking about today. This guy over here, Decoy SV-55 Drive. Now, those of you who have been with my channel for some time know that I already reviewed another jig that sounds very familiar. This is the Decoy SV-56 Drive. And I named this jig the Little CHROMEY, and I'm gonna name this guy the Big CHROMEY, since it's very similar to the little brother. It's just bigger and best used for different application. But don't confuse the SV-56 and 55, because even though they have similar construction, the specifications and dimensions and purpose and application are very different. So yeah, make sure you don't confuse this. SV-56 is purple, 55 is green. If you want to throw the big baits, the Kitechs, you're gonna need the green one. But this is the guy I'm gonna review today, and I actually have made a cheat sheet. If you don't want to watch the video, freeze this frame, look at the cheat sheet, and you can exit the video. I know you're short on time, but if you do that, at least give me a thumbs up for, letting you off the hook without wasting a lot of your time. This is my plan. I'm gonna go over this today. So application, this jig is best for crappie, okay? Because of the hook. The hook is 19 millimeter long if you count only the hook, not the head. If you count the head, you add another 2 millimeters to that. By 7.5 millimeter wide, depending whether you measure at the tip or, where the barb is. But, with this hook, the dimensions are just perfect for crappie. I mean, I don't know how to make this hook better for crappie if you're gonna throw this kind of lures, okay? The length of the shank, everything is just perfect for those lures. But the reason it's not good for bluegill, and you will catch plenty of bluegill if you use this hook with those lures that I showed you, but they have to be the nicer bluegill, the big males. You're not gonna catch the jinx with this. And the reason it's not good for bass is just it needs to be a little bit bigger, plus the wire should probably be a little bit stronger if you want to target bass. I did catch plenty of bass under 1 pound with this hook, and those lures never had a problem. But again, the perfect application would be crappie, any crappie, small crappie. The hook is small enough even for small crappie because they have such a big mouth. Small crappie or big crappie, all crappie, perfect jig head for those lures, and also okay for big bluegill and okay for small bass. If you ask me what should be improved in this jig head, and I really don't think anything needs improvement, to be honest with you. Everything is just fine the way it is. But if I must, give you something to improve, I would say the hook sharpness, should be improved. Now, if you use this for crappie or whatever, bluegill and small bass, I don't think you will benefit from making the hook sharper, especially with crappie. I can promise you any contact between this hook and the mouth of a crappie will result in full, complete 100% penetration. But in all honesty, the hooks that owner makes, owner, Cultiva, also the Daiwa Gikabijin jig heads, they do feel a little bit stickier, when you just run your skin through the tip. But again, I don't think it makes any practical difference whatsoever if you target crappie, because the hook will go in all the way every time. When it comes to strengths of the hook though, there is a lot longer list. The first thing is the shape. The shape is just absolutely perfect, guys, for these 2-inch Kitex or any other similar lures. Notice that if the shank is a little bit longer, then it starts to impact the action because the tail cannot move so much. If the shank is a little bit shorter, then you lose bites. You don't lose bites, but you're gonna lose hookups because the tip will be too close to the eye, and the eye will serve as protection, from the lip hitting the tip of the hook. Also, I like that the gap is not too big. Most hooks that are this long and sold in United States tend to have too big a gap. I hate big gaps. I think the fish can see them. Anyway, I don't want to go on that tangent, but I think the fish can see a big gap and they don't like it. Also, with this hook I mentioned you can catch bluegill, but if you have a big gap hook, it's just physically impossible the entire gap of the hook to enter the mouth of a bluegill, which have much smaller mouth. So I really like the shape, the dimensions, the gap, the slightly open tip, everything about the shape of the hook. Now the barb, it has a micro barb. I don't know why it cannot focus now, but it really is micro barb. Now because the hook is open a little bit and it has a micro barb, once the hook penetrates the fish completely, you have to always keep tension on the line and have a soft rod to help you keep always tension on the line. But even then, you're gonna lose some fish because it's easy for the fish to come out. There is no barb to hold it, and the tip is open, so it's easier for the fish to come out. So if that happens, or if that's a concern for you that you lose, a crappie from time to time, that is not a hook for you. I don't care. Even if I lose a trophy fish, guys, I still don't care. I mean, what happened? The fish is still alive and swimming free in the water. There is no disaster. You didn't catch it, but grow up. Not a big deal. So unless you're a tournament angler, I don't think micro barb is that big of a deal. But if it's a big of a deal for you, don't buy it. The other thing I like is the eye of the hook. I do use clips with all of these. And if you have a small eye, and many of these Japanese hooks have too small an eye, you cannot put the clip here. My iPhone is not focusing well today. And even if it goes through the hole, it cannot wobble and doesn't have enough free play. Good eye, good hook keeper. As long, here's the hook keeper, it has a little snagging barb. It's not just plastic. At the end of the hook keeper over here, there is a tiny little plastic barb. The hook keeper is not just there, it's actually functional and does a good job of keeping a tighter lure on the hook. Shape of the head is kind of similar to the little CHROMEY. The tip of the head has the same kind of cut. For the life of me, I can't tell if this cut does anything at all. Probably it doesn't. But I still like to see it and like to have it. And I do appreciate the attention to detail that the vendor puts in making such little details. The last thing I'm gonna say is these hooks, all of the Decoy hooks, well, I don't know all of them, but most of the ones I see, they are very reasonably priced. If you didn't have to pay shipping, these are so cheap that they even compete, price per unit with tackle sold in America. Not only this, they compete with tackle sold on AliExpress. These are really, really reasonably priced. The only matter is shipping, of course. Ordering shipping from Japan is not cheap. But the way I buy these, always, when I buy reels from Japan, like this one over here, once you put this in your shopping cart, adding jig heads does not change usually the shipping price. So make the most of it. When you buy a reel, load up on them jig heads. And if you're going to be planning on throwing some 2 or 3-inch Kitex or this Mega Bass here, I'm telling you, this one is as good as it gets if you don't care again for this little wrinkle with the micro barb, causing you to lose a fish here and there. But I'm telling you, even in United States, again, if you don't count the price of shipping, these are very well priced, very competitively, given the quality. Okay, this video is super long. Thanks to all who reached the end. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.